down. I'm Jason Gilbo at JGilbo11, looking at pitching for tonight's slate. We got 11 games, much better pitching selections than last night in terms of overall depth. Carrasco heading on the road to Baltimore. Don't mind him. Jeff Samardzija, Jose Barrios. So, we definitely have some options. We'll talk about Carrasco here first. I love targeting right-handers that are tough on righties against the Orioles because they're going to roll out about 7 right-handed bats in that lineup, with the lefties being Smith and Kim. Baltimore 21st in hard contact against right-handed pitching, 21st in WOBA as well. They also have a 22.8% strikeout rate, which we've seen targeted over the past. Carrasco's not bad against lefties, 306 WOBA, but the righties is what we're looking at here. 247 WOBA against them this year, 26% strikeout rate, only allowing a 26% hard contact rate as well. Carrasco hasn't been bad this year, but the fantasy production's been a little bit inconsistent. But I do think in terms of strikeout rate this year, this start is going to be one where if he gives up a couple runs, he'll be okay. I do think he'll get back to the win. He's a good road favorite. 11.7% swinging strike rate this year. Carrasco definitely checks into me as one of the top options on the board tonight because there's no true ace that you're just kind of diving in. There's no Max Scherzer. He's on the earlier slate. So I don't mind going with some of these top-end guys and feeling pretty safe with their floors. Jeff Samardzija, rough start in Coors, but shot his ERA back up as he was trying to bring it back down. This is a guy who's pitched really well this year. 333 BABIP, 64.9% left on base percentage has made him a little bit unlucky. His FIP and XFIP are over a run lower than what his ERA is, 4.81. Strikeout rate to walk rate has been phenomenal this year, over 27% strikeout rate, just a 3% walk rate. Still allowing some hits and runs to lefties, but he's been a little bit unlucky there too. But you look at the strikeout rate against lefties, 29.3%, under 30% hard contact rate. So that's solid against the Braves, who have a couple of lefties. Ballpark is a downgrade. It's played pretty well, but I like Samardzija as kind of that good pivot away from Carrasco or Barrios tonight. If you're looking to kind of make a move in a GPP, I don't mind Samardzija. And speaking of Barrios, this is a guy who's been strong this year. Figured out the major league level. You look at what he's done on his 7 starts. He's only allowed more than 200 runs once. Once was against Baltimore, where he allowed just 3. Houston, he allowed 4, so kind of acceptable there. 10% swinging strike rate has been really solid, not allowing a ton of hard contact. 233 WOBA to lefties, 233 WOBA to righties, 288 to lefties. White Sox have been more league average of late. We saw that last night. They're not a team to just fire away and pick on. They still have that high strikeout rate, 22.8% overall. They still rank 26th in WOBA, but it's been closer to about 14th or 15th in WOBA over the last few weeks. So I like Barrios. I like him on FanDuel, where he's reasonably priced DraftKings. I wasn't expecting the high price tag, but I'll deal with it on tonight's slate. I don't. What he's done. He's been above 20 DK points in all but 2 starts this year, so he's been phenomenal. So I don't mind him at all. Moving down the list here, we kind of get to some other guys that aren't as comfortable. Mike Fiers has actually been somewhat serviceable of late over his last few starts, 2.25 ERA, 3.24 FIP. Over his 6 starts, he's on a 22% hard contact, 48% ground ball rate, scaling back the home runs as well, given the fact that he's allowed a ton of home runs this year. 19.3% strikeout rate. It's not going to wow anyone, but you just look at the A's in terms of what they strike out. 25% against righties. That gives Fiers a small bump there. He's a 2-pitcher site guy for me at the least. I'll stick with him in just GPPs. I won't go with him in cash games just because he has that blow potential. But he's kind of figured things out of late, so I don't hate the idea of using him. There's just not a lot of safe, cheaper pitching options on the slate. You can look at even the other one against Mania here. Houston's obviously a tough offense against lefties, ranks 4th in WOBA, but they do rank 29th in hard contact rate. You look at Mania. This is a team that has struggled against him. 11 for 80, 26.3% strikeout rate. Look at Mania faced a tough Yankees lineup last time out, and he unfortunately couldn't get around Aaron Judge, and that was the one guy that he needed to get around with. But since coming back from the DL, everything FIP, ERA, XFIP under 4, 25% strikeout rate in that span. Much cheaper on DraftKings, where he's 6,800. I'll consider him as an SP2 there and kind of hope that you can roll the dice and get a decent start out of him, because I don't think a lot of people will. And I think if you're looking for a safer SP2 option that's cheap and allows you to get some bats in, I like Sean Newcomb here. 11.4% swing strike rate this year, 19% strikeout rate. You expect to see that kind of climb up a little bit, allowing a 13.9% hard contact rate, 52% ground ball rate. This is all over 2 starts. Over his, minor league stuff, I mean, he's been absolutely great. You look at his AAA numbers this year, his strikeout rate, 29.7%. Walk rate still a little bit of an issue. That's the one thing that you're always concerned about with young pitching. Keeps the ball in the park, solid ground ball rate. So I'm a big fan of him going up against, this Giants offense has just been horrible. I mean, absolutely horrible. Yeah, they blew up a little bit last night and scored some runs, but this is a team that's just been bad. 29th in WOBA against lefties this year, bottom 5 in ISO hard contact. They don't strike out a ton, but at the price, I don't exactly need them to. I think Newcomb can manage about 4 or 5 strikeouts, especially if that lineup kind of shoots to still those average lefties in there. So definitely like him as an SP2 on DraftKings. Have no issue using him in cash games, pair him up with a high-end option and still be able to get some bats. So let's wrap things up here. You can head over to DaveFantasyCafe.com, check out everything from our articles to our optimizer, and good luck.